Well, hello YouTubers, it is brake time in the city. We got to put the new brake pads on the front of this Dodge Caravan, and this applies just about any vehicle. I want to show you how to save yourself about $200 to $300 in some cases, and you can do this in about 45 minutes to an hour just with some basic tools. Okay, here are the basic tools that you'll need. Basically, a couple of screwdrivers, metric socket set. The C-clamp is optional. That is for squeezing back the caliper into this bore to give those new brakes a little more room to fit. A hammer, gloves, and some brake shoes or brake pads. In this case, these are what we like to call brake pads, and aren't they pretty? They just came in the mail today. Got these for like $10 free shipping, so it's amazing what you can find online. And they also give you some anti-rattling clips. So let's get to it. We've got about an hour of daylight here left, and I'm going to see what we can do, and I think I can do this within an hour, and I think you can too. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is put a block behind the wheels so we don't get ran over and make the evening news. And the second thing we're going to do is pull the emergency brake, if you have one. Hopefully you do. And third, we are going to jack up the car with my 1942 antique jack. And now we have the wheel off the ground. The next thing we want to do is go ahead and take off the lug nuts. And now remove the wheel. Alright, now what I've done inside, I've turned the wheel a little bit just to have access to these two back bolts. And what we're going to do first is take a screwdriver and basically go behind the old brake pads and kind of force them back slowly like this. And what we're doing, we are basically pushing that piston and that caliper back all the way in its max position where we can get new brake pads on there. Now I think you can see a gap there. You can actually see a little light back here on the ground. Now we have got that all the way back. That's our goal. And now the next step is to go ahead and take these two bolts off on the back, and they are basically 10 millimeter. And now we can go ahead and take those off once I find the right bolt form there. So let me get my 10 millimeter, and there we go. And like I said, this job could cost you anywhere from $100 to $200, but you can do this job for just the price of the brake shoes, or the brake pads, I should say. And if you get the brake pads, make sure you get the right ones, because a lot of vehicles now, you would think that some of the vehicles would take the same pads, but they don't. They do sometimes vary. You don't want to waste any time ordering the parts and getting the wrong ones. So we'll take this last bolt out on the front of this caliper. I'll do some of this in real time so you'll get a feel for it. And now my two bolts are out. Now it's very important, when you go to put these bolts back in, you want to do them with your fingers. You want to slowly get them started. You just don't want to start wrenching on these, putting a socket on them, because you can strip these out. If you strip these out, you will have to go buy another pin for a caliper, or even another brake caliper in some cases. So now we are ready to pull this off, this whole unit off. And out it comes. And now here are my brake pads. You can see they are not the world's best, but the whole goal here is to get new ones on here tonight and within about 45 minutes. So right now it's taken me about 10 minutes to do what I've done so far. And there is the back one. Now my new calipers, let's see, the new brakes come with anti-rattle clips, but I don't think I need them on this particular model. And as you can see, here are the old pads. They're not too bad, but we're going to go ahead and stick the new ones on, so we will have a new set of brakes on the front, and we'll be safe. Alright, here are my new pads, and they look really good, so let's go ahead and stick these on. Now what I'll do is go ahead and put the back one in first, in the back of this caliper. It just kind of snaps in like this. Feels good there. And here is the front one, and we'll just kind of slide it down and push on it, and it's in. Now you can see how that piston has been pushed all the way back in there. This allows the rotor to slide in there, and it should not be an issue whatsoever. Actually, on this model, I have to put the bottom in first. That was my fault. Now we slide this in. Okay, now we got our new brake pads on. On this particular model, I had to slide the bottom in first and push in on the top. Now we'll install our bolts. Sometimes you'll have to take your hand and move this back caliper around a little bit so you get it kind of centered. But once it gets centered, you can feel it going in, and all you got to do is tighten up the bolt. And we'll put the bottom bolt in. Hopefully you can still see out here. It's getting kind of late. And there we go. And that is on. Now we take our socket and our 10 millimeter little socket here and ratchet, and we'll tighten this up. I definitely will have to put rotors on this soon. They are not in the world's best shape, but they don't shake. My pedal doesn't bounce or anything like that, so they'll be okay for a while, maybe for another week until I put new rotors on the front. And there we go, our brakes are on, and that took me 14 minutes. And all we have to do now is go in and pump the pedal a couple times. Now, this guy here I brought out, this is just an optional tool in case you can't get your screwdriver back in here. If you don't feel like messing up your brakes, you might want to keep them as a backup spare. You can just, that's fine, you can just use this caliper. You can use this clamp to push back in this caliper just to get the fluid out of the caliper so you can get that piston all the way back and put in the new brakes. Now, one thing to note, since we pushed that caliper back in, the piston back into the caliper, you will get some more brake fluid backing back up through the line, and this will actually fill back up. In some cases, if you have this reservoir already full, when you push that piston back in the caliper, it will leak out a little bit. So it's always good to come out here and maybe check this and loosen up the cap a little bit to relieve some of the pressure. So if you see fluid leaking here after you put your new brakes on, don't freak out just yet. Now we got the new brakes on. Next thing we got to do is go inside and pump the pedal a couple times. And now we don't want to start the car. What we want to do is go ahead and pump this pedal and push that brake fluid back down into the caliper and get those brakes nice and hard. Get the air out of them, and now they feel really good, and now they're nice and soft. They're actually nice and good. Now let's go ahead and start the car up. All right, car started, and wow, what a difference, man. That is great. Brakes feel really good now. So now we'll go ahead and do the other side. We'll go ahead and do the passenger side. Okay, I don't want to get ahead of myself too far, but looks like we got to put the wheel back on this side first. We'll torque this wheel down and make sure it's good and tight. All right, we do the same thing on this side. We take off the wheel. I've already broken these nuts loose, and I'm going to use this impact tool. Makes it a little bit faster just for video purposes. And now we'll take the wheel off. And now we do basically the same thing on this side. We take our screwdriver, we get behind the brake pad, and we force it back into its caliper piston. And you just got to be a little patient. It'll slowly go, and I think you can see it going back into the caliper. And there, it's all the way back, and we're just about ready to put the new piston, put the new brakes on this side now. We got to take the caliper off. Okay, now we go ahead and break loose the 10 millimeter bolts. Apparently it's trick or treat night. I just realized. People walking by in costumes, kind of scaring me. And it's been 29 minutes. There is one bolt. You gotta be careful when, like I said, when you put those in, you don't want to strip them. And if you want, if you have a little spray paint, you can clean up this caliper and clean off the dirt and rust and put it back on. It does help a little bit. Makes it last a little longer, doesn't corrode as much. And now we're ready to take this off. You have to actually, on this particular model, you have to lift up from the bottom and pull out. And there are the old brakes. Take these off. And I think you can see on this particular pad, there wasn't much left. Very thin, very dangerous. And winter's coming up. And we'll take the back out. And it's not as bad, but still, we're going to replace it. Check everything, make sure we don't have any debris, anything in there that's going to cause us any issue. Alright, now we'll grab the new one, we'll snap it in here, and we'll take the new one, we'll slide it in like this. There we go. Now one other quick note on these spacers, they are sticky pads. You can use these if you want. My particular application, I really don't need them because I already have these clips that hold these pads pretty secure. The point is, when you're not hitting your brake, these sometimes will rattle a little bit and you'll hear a rattling noise, and this is why they give you these if you don't have these clips that actually hold those brake pads in place. So in this case, I'm not even going to use them. I don't need them, so we're done. So now we're just going to go ahead and put this back on. It's always good to check your hub, make sure everything's okay. Mine are okay, they don't shake or do anything exciting, but I'm still going to replace them. I'll put new ones on them later. This one's wore down a little bit, but it'll get me by for a few more days. Now we'll stick the bottom part on first. Make sure that pin down here on the bottom is pushed back, because sometimes it likes to hang up. And now we'll do the same with the top one. Let's see, I believe on this side, I might have to do the top first. If I remember right. There we go. Takes a little fiddling sometimes. I think we just about got it there. I had it there, wasn't it? There we go. See, I do this in real time so you'll get the feel for it. And there they are on. Here's my bolt. Like I said, just kind of shake it there until it catches. Okay, that one's caught. That's, and the one on the bottom, same thing. Just kind of shake it around a little bit until it catches. And there we go. Now all we gotta do is tighten them up. And now all I gotta do is tighten this last bolt up, and it's taken me 37 minutes to do this entire job. And by the time I put the wheel on, you're talking 40, 45 minutes. Just double check your bolts, make sure they're tight. Nice snug, nothing too terribly tight. And we have brand new brakes. Now what we want to do next is go inside and pump that pedal just like we did on the other side. Now when you first push that pedal, if it goes all the way to the floor, don't be alarmed, just pump it. See, it went almost to the floor. But my third, fourth pump, my pedal is nice and hard and it's soft to the touch there until to a point. Now I'm going to start the vehicle up. And this verifies that everything is working perfect, and I can just barely touch that brake and it's a nice full pedal. And that, my friend, is a result of brand new pads on the front of your vehicle. And at this point, all I have to do is torque up that wheel, and I have brand new brakes. Alright, there's one more look at it. It is finished up. I am very happy. I got that done in 44 minutes. Here's a look at the old pads, and they were really getting wore down, especially this one here. 80% gone. So if you want to do your pads, that's one way to do them. Hopefully this will help somebody out, that's going to be putting brakes on. And like I said, it's not really about money. It's about when you need them. If you need them overnight and you need to get them on and you want to wait 4 or 5 days to get an appointment, this may help you out. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, everybody, and be careful and be safe.